Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing great. It's been such a long time since I just sat down and made a long video blabbering about books. I've been uploading a lot of shorts lately and you guys are loving them. But I love talking about books and I have a lot to say about them, and sometimes it can be just, difficult to fit all the information in just a minute. And also, as I said, I just love chatting about books. So finally, I'm sitting down today after quite a while and making a long video. And today I'm going to talk about all the Japanese books that I've read, of course, in their English translations, and if I recommend them to you or not. And I'm talking about this because if there's one thing that's trending on social media right now, it's Studio Ghibli or Studio Ghibli. Both are correct pronunciations, by the way. It's trending, and of course, it's such a cute and dreamy art form, and everyone's loving it. But I've had a fascination with Japanese art forms, Japanese literature, Japanese culture, and Japan as a country since a very long time. I don't know why. And that is why I also started reading Japanese authors. Now, like many other readers, my first introduction to Japanese literature was Murakami, Haruki Murakami, and his book was Norwegian Wood, the first book that I read. And I highly, highly recommend it. It's a coming of age novel about, a guy and his college days, and there's in the backdrop of a student protest going on in Japan, and how he finds love with two different girls who are very different. Just a very beautiful, nostalgic coming of age story. And once again, just like Studio Ghibli, it's also very, dreamy. That's what I love about Murakami actually. His books are always very dreamy and magical. So yeah, I ended up loving this one. And so I wanted to explore not just more of Japanese literature, but more of Murakami. So then I went on to reading two other books by him, which are Kafka on the Shore. Again, love this a lot. The best thing about Murakami's works, and especially about Kafka on the Shore, is that it leaves a lot to your interpretation. So no two readers will, agree about what he actually wants to say and what does he mean. So it's always open to interpretation, especially their endings. And that's why also, it has this mysterious vibe to it. So yeah, once again, Kafka on the Shore also I highly recommend. And then I read Sputnik Sweetheart, once again classic Murakami novel, and I liked it, but it's not specifically very amazing, and it's up to you if you want to read it or not. I won't highly recommend this one. Then I also read this short story collection by Murakami, Men Without Women. It's different stories of men and the women in their lives, what they meant to them, what their lives were without those women. And I've done a complete video on this whole book, so you can check it out. I'll link it in the description box. But in short, I liked this book. There were some stories that I found amazing, but there were a couple that didn't resonate so much with me. Doesn't mean I don't recommend it. These are good short stories and you can definitely check them out. And then I also read one very short story. It's a very thin book because it's a short story called Birthday Girl. It's very mysterious, and till date I don't know what I ended up reading. It's a little too open to interpretation, so I couldn't make sense of it. Once again, won't highly recommend. You can check it out if you want to. Then I ordered this book. I thought, okay, let's explore more of Japanese literature. Let's, move away from Murakami for a bit. And I went to this book called Maiden of the Blue Willow and Other Japanese Folk Tales. So, folk tales are always a great way of knowing a country and the kind of stories, people born in that country have grown up reading. Once again, a very interesting book. Some of the stories were so interesting and fun to read. And it is especially a great book if you're someone who likes reading to your children. And children don't have an attention span to stay the length of a novel. In those cases, it's a great book. And otherwise, just for yourself as well, you will be able to feel the essence of Japan in these folk tales. Now, coming to the book that I recommend the most out of the entire haul is the Memoirs of a Geisha by Arthur Golden. Now, this is a very famous book. It also has a movie based on it, and it has been highly recommended to me. And it was sitting on my shelf for so long. Then I finally read it, and my God, I absolutely loved the book. So, as the title suggests, it follows the story of a young girl who's, separated from her family, and then she's forced to become a geisha, and how she adjusts to this new life, and not only adjusts, but she becomes one of the most popular geisha of Japan, and then her life as a geisha and everything. So this will actually take you so deep into not just Japan as a country, but the whole geisha culture. You'll start feeling as if you know the protagonist, as you've lived with her, as if you live in the district she's talking about. The writing is amazing, the plot is amazing. I don't hate anything about this book. So highly recommended. Now coming to the last one, which is actually a series, and I've recommended this quite a lot of times, which is Before the Coffee Gets Cold. Now I've read two of the books in this, the first and the second one. If you don't know already, the Before the Coffee Gets Cold is a series which is set in a very cozy cafe in Japan, cozy and very ancient cafe in Japan. And what's special about this cafe is that it allows customers to travel through time. So time travel obviously adds this magical element to the whole story, and then we get to see different customers and why they want to travel through time. Now the catch is that once you travel for back or ahead in time, you can't change the present, so then why would you go through time? And then we see how people, people have regrets, and or people have things they wish they said to loved ones, to their parents, their siblings, friends, whatnot, things they would have done differently, expressed differently. So very emotional stories of all these people and why they travel back and then what happens. Very light-hearted but meaningful at the same time. So if you like stories with emotional resonance, then this series is definitely for you. I am yet to read the other three books in the series, but I'm sure I'm going to love them. So these were all the Japanese books that I've read so far. I definitely mean to explore more of Japanese literature. If you have recommendations for me, please leave them in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video and this blabbering about Japanese literature. If you did, do not forget to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel.